Hello everyone and welcome to another CDI episode. Does anyone recognize this movie? The Secret of NIMH? It's an early 80s classic, but what does this movie have to do with games? Well, the guy behind it, Bluth, made the game we're going to take a look at, around the same time as the movie. Don used to be an animator at Disney, but he decided to start up his own company to make his own movies, some of which are really good and I can recommend. And also make some games. His first feature-length movie was The Secret of NIMH, which became a huge success right away. His first game was Dragon's Lair, which would become a huge hit in the arcades when it was released in 1983. Seems that old Don knew perfectly well what he was doing. Now the reason the game was so successful was that this game looked like something seen from TV. Its graphics looked amazing next to the other arcade games of the time. A lot of people didn't even know it was a game, they just put in money to watch. And yes, some people can actually be that stupid. But can you really blame them? I mean, come on, this thing was set up next to Pac-Man and Space Invaders. That's quite a difference, don't you agree? Here, take a look at its extract mode.
Dragon's Lair, the fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. You control the actions of a daring adventurer finding his way through the castle of a dark wizard who has enchanted it with treacherous monsters and obstacles. In the mysterious caverns below the castle, your odyssey continues against the awesome forces that oppose your efforts to reach the Dragon's Lair. Lead on, adventurer. Your quest awaits.
It's not hard to imagine how advanced it must have looked back then. Oh, and they knew they were onto something. So they decided to make the game twice as expensive to play than other arcade games. And if you were playing for the first time, then it was most likely twice as short than others too. But even though it was expensive as hell to play, people were hooked. Good thing we learned by now that graphics ain't everything. Yeah, alright, maybe we just deserve to be milked. Now, of course, Don Bluth did more directing than actual drawing and animating himself. In fact, he saw the game as something for his inexperienced artists to practice on. Not that you can tell from the game, since it sports some solid animation work for its time. Heck, it still looks nice today even. It's just like a cartoon, and it has far better animation work than most of the crap you see on TV these days. Dragon's Lair got ported to almost every system that there was, and it's still ported to new systems today in its arcade form. It's ironic that the home console that was based off of the technology used in the Dragon's Lair arcade cabinet did not receive a port. Not there was much time to announce it during its lifespan. For all two of you who happen to be unfamiliar with this game, it's an interactive movie kind of game where you have to push the right button at the right time to advance. If you push the wrong button, you get another short movie sequence where you see your hero, Dirk the Daring, getting killed in some way. It's trial and error for the most part, although sometimes you get some hints at where to go by flashes. A lot of time it's just guesswork. The CDI version is by far the best classic port of this game. Even compared to some of the newer ports, it's still great. It does need the digital video cartridge to be installed in your CDI though, or it won't play it at all. But because of this, it has a nice clean image, far better than the Sega CD and 3DO versions. It's also an almost perfect port of the arcade version. In a lot of ports, some scenes were removed to preserve space. Well, not here. It has everything the arcade has too. Later DVD versions do look and sound nicer, but well, have you ever tried to play a game on a DVD player? Pushing a button causes the DVD player to load like 2 seconds. The CDI has slight pause between commands, but it's a lot more playable. So that's all the good stuff. It may be one of the best ports out there, but I still hate it. Seriously, I can't stand these type of games. They frustrate me beyond belief. You just have too little control over the action. You will die a lot figuring out what button to push, And worse, when. I'm not complaining that there's no arrow on the screen to hold you by your hand like QuickTime events do. A bit of trial and error never hurt anyone. But half the time you don't even know when you're supposed to push something. A little indication of when action should be taken would have helped. Like a little sound, which I think is something the arcade did have. But I'm not 100% sure on this one. It's pretty much impossible to be precise. I can't even get past the first screen with one button press, even though there's only one move to take. Luckily, there's no penalty for pushing too soon in this version, so once you know what's coming, you can just happily mash your button, until Dirk does his thing and move on to the next move, which you should have memorized, or die trying to find out what the heck you're supposed to do next. At times the game tries to mess with your head a bit and mirrors some scenes. I understand that this is fun for veterans of the game and keep it challenging, but come on. I just died because I'm not a veteran. And when I try with my next life, it's suddenly reversed. What the hell? How's that fair? And how does that even make sense? The castle just turned or something? And yeah, I know, it's the same in the arcade version, but they could have easily made this an option in the home version, right? Speaking of options, there are none. Even the arcade had difficulty settings and 2 player support. This has nothing at all. It's just a game for 1 player. You can enter your name for high scores, but this is completely useless since it doesn't save it. The CDI has a hard drive, why would you not use it to store high scores? So some scenes mirror now and then, but there is more randomness. The scenes themselves come in a random order too, well, apart from some key ones like the beginning and the end. Between it's pretty much random which one you get, and you can even get the same one twice, which again makes no sense at all. But I'm actually glad they give you a random scenes. Not all ports have this feature neither, but it's a really good thing. Experienced players will have a hard time at memorizing every single scene. Cheating with a piece of paper with the directions is pretty much impossible since you can't pause the game after the scene has started. And people like me who suck at this game, well, we still get to see different scenes. That's nice. Alright, now for the worst feature of this game. The score display. Oh god. Well, just listen to this. Yeah, and you get treated to one of these every time a new scene starts or when you die. Awesome, as if the game wasn't annoying enough from itself. So that's basically all there is to say about this game. If you like these kind of games, then this is one of the best ports out there. But I can truly only recommend this to fans of the genre. For anyone else, you know, normal people, skip it. So even though it's not total crap, I'm still not going to give it a golden turd, because I'm biased like that. Some other ports that might be better are the 20th anniversary DVD, which plays nicely on a PC, or the Blu-ray version, which is nicely updated and comes with actual options and some neat extras. However, if you just want to check out the game, then the CDI version might be the way to go, since it's probably the cheapest, even with the new system. Well, that's it for me again. Thank you for watching and please let me know what you think. Questions, suggestions or feedback is always welcome. I say take care and until next time. Bye bye.